Hello again, everyone. Zach Attack is here with my WWE Raw Supershow review for tonight, Monday, June 11th, 2012. A 3-hour Raw, the last one before No Way Out tonight. Overall, my thoughts on tonight's Raw. Better than the last couple weeks. Ending was kind of still silly ending. We crowned a new number one contender for the World Championship. We saw a great return heading towards the 1000th Raw, which will be permanent 3 hours. And a lot of other things heading towards No Way Out. But it was like it was okay Raw tonight, better than the last couple weeks, but I ain't saying much. Alright, let's kick things off with, well, John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon, the storyline that went on throughout the evening. Kicking off with John Laurinaitis basically trying to kiss ass about the whole Vince McMahon evaluation thing. And, Vince McMahon came out with John Laurinaitis, talking about how he's going to evaluate Laurinaitis, yada, yada, yada. He would decide on that later on in the evening. Before we did get to Laurinaitis' decision involving Laurinaitis, McMahon was hanging out backstage with people, and including one most awkward segment of the night, besides what happened during our main event, which I'll get to in moments as well. Vince McMahon dancing with the Funkdactyls. So, of course, the official dancers were Borders Clay. Now, I was dancing with them, and two things came to mind to myself. One, I was mad that Zack Ryder, who showed up at the end of this segment, didn't bitch at Vince about not being on Raw for the last month and a half, or at least 2 months. He just stood there in awe of this whole McMahon getting down with the Funkdactyls. Which leads me to thing number 2 about this segment. I think everybody, including myself, will probably agree here. There was only one word that rang in our heads when Vince McMahon was dancing with those Funkdactyls. Damn! Where's Ron Simmons when you needed him? And I'll get to another old guy like Simmons coming back later. But while we pander about what would happen to Mr. Laurinaitis, by the way, Borders Clay spoke about his Funkdactyls. He'll be on the No Way Out pre-show taking on David Otunga. Speaking of Laurinaitis' kiss ass. But while we wait for Laurinaitis, it was time for Sheamus to wrestle. Sheamus came out midway towards the whole McMahon Laurinaitis thing. And Laurinaitis named an opponent for Sheamus for, well, now and then. Then and now. He would name his new number one contender after Alberto's neck injury later on. But the first match was Lord Tenzai, Albert, A-Train, what do you want to call him, taking on Sheamus. The first match of the night, named by Laurinaitis. Now, I've been noticing this for weeks, about tension between Lord Tenzai and Sakamoto, Masamoto, whatever his fucking name is. And, they ditched the whole Lord thing, because everyone, including myself, hates Tenzai's Japanese gimmick. So I think they're trying to distance himself from it, especially after this match. Lord Tenzai lost to John Cena last week. His first loss since coming back. And tonight he lost to Sheamus in a decent matchup for what it was. Sheamus gaining momentum for his match against whoever would win a match which was named later on a Fatal 4-Way Elimination match. So while Sheamus celebrated his victory over Tenzai, who went from beating John Cena to losing to John Cena and Sheamus within 2 weeks, took out all his frustration on his now probably former manager, Sakamoto. Like I said, I am guessing that, Tenzai is probably going to ditch the whole Japanese thing now, especially with him kicking the hell out of Sakamoto. We'll see what happens next week with Tenzai if he even shows up with Sakamoto at all. So they go Sheamus, okay matchup. Tenzai was his usual dominant self until Sheamus got the advantage, and of course the brogue kick ended it all. On to our next match, which was a mixed tag team match. I was mostly right on who would face off here. Well, at least 75% of the match. Santino, when I saw him come out and it said mixed tag, I was like, okay. So Santino's going to team up with Layla against Beth Phoenix and somebody. Well, I was right on 3 out of the 4 members. It was actually Ricardo Rodriguez. Continuing the whole silliness with Santino. There's a silly match, useless match like Big Show's gimmick. By the way, I know I'm going off topic here, but I agree with Vince McMahon on what he said about Big Show not doing anything inaccurate since 1999. Amen, sir. Speaking of someone who is sucking since 1999, I'll get to Kane in a moment. But back to the match at hand. Silliness match, awkward moments with, of course, Ricardo Rodriguez, despite the fact that Ricardo's distraction helped Layla lose with Santino, because Bret Phoenix got the victory with our team. It was Santino at the last laugh, embarrassing Ricardo more and more. After beating him up from SmackDown senselessly, he stripped him down to a Justin Bieber t-shirt and made him ran into the ring post. So it's kind of silly, awkward moments for Ricardo Rodriguez. Despite winning the Macbeth, it was Santino, like I mentioned, who had the last laugh. Then we had a segment involving CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Kane, and Crazy Girl. AJ. Talk about the match this Sunday, about the whole AJ thing, about this love triangle, I'm calling this, that AJ's put herself into, this tangled web of confusion that would only get more confusing with our main event being named during this segment involving these three. After these four, it'll be, yes, CM Punk teaming up with AJ against Punk's opponents at No Way Out, Kane and Bryan. Now, the match sounded awkward to begin with, but the match itself turned out to be more awkward than ever imaginable in this ever-changing storyline involving these four. So before we found out what happened with these four, on to our next match, which was a number one contenders match, a fatal four-way match, named by John Laurinaitis with a little help from Teddy Long, trying to impress Vince McMahon from not getting fired. It was Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, Great Khali, and Christian. Now, I predicted on my attack line today that it'll be Dolph Ziggler to get the number one contender slot in this matchup, or at least get the number one contendership at all to face Sheamus. Well, I am right. I predict everything, and mostly I call everything, and I'm right. Great Khali got eliminated quickly. Thank God. I'm happy Khali got out quickly. And the rest of the match was actually pretty exciting, especially with Christian and Dolph Ziggler being the last two after eliminating Swagger, with Dolph Ziggler pinning Swagger, apparently ending the tag team permanently now, putting the exclamation mark on their tag team breaking up. Now, I've always been impressed with Ziggler. I've said it in my stuff before. I've always been impressed with Ziggler, and everyone agreed with me. There was a lot of "Let's go Ziggler" chants, and I love Christian to death. I'm a big Christian guy, but Ziggler's been impressing people. He's been getting a big push from WWE, promoting a lot, especially with the whole download thing. But it was indeed Ziggler's time tonight. Ziggler beat Christian in a decent fatal four-way elimination match. And like I said, as I called it, as I predicted on the attack line, Dolph Ziggler becomes your new number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship this Sunday. Now, I don't think that Mr. Ziggler's going to actually win the world title this Sunday, but I think he'll probably put on a good effort and probably get a rematch against Sheamus at Money to Bank and or SummerSlam. So, there you go. Good luck to Ziggler. I think he'll probably lose, but I know Ziggler will put on a decent match with Sheamus. Sheamus' last match at the pay-per-view, the Fatal 4-Way involving Bryan and Randy Orton in a Battle Royal at the last pay-per-view over the limit was actually pretty damn good. So see what Sheamus can do with Dolph Ziggler. Should be an okay matchup this Sunday. Now on to our next match. First of two squashes, not in a row, but this evening. Well, actually three squashes, not in a row. Is another handicap squash involving Goldberg, Ryback. Nothing much to say. Double jackhammer move Ryback wins. He wants more. Let's move on. Ryback, Goldberg, Sheffield, same thing. Now on to our next match. As a little bit of a warm-up match for his match against John Cena this Sunday, Big Show took on Kofi Kingston in a steel cage match. The setup was that Big Show knocked out R-Truth backstage. Of course, R-Truth got injured over the weekend, like Alberto Del Rio did, and that must be why Big Show knocked R-Truth out, to give R-Truth a storyline reason for his injuries besides the real injury that he suffered over the weekend. So if R-Truth out, Kofi wants revenge. So Kofi put himself in his match against Big Show. Probably in my mind the only silly, besides the Scotches, silliest thing on this entire fucking card tonight. Typical Big Show match, beat the crap out of Kofi. Kofi did try to fight back though, but of course it was the weapons, a master scratch and knockout. And Big Show, like they called it a no contest, yet Big Show still won anyway. Like they called the match off. Like the ending was kind of confusing. Like after he knocked out Kofi, he didn't pin him. The referee was calling the match, yet the match was still going on because Big Show escaped and they rang the bell. So ending was kind of confusing, but anyway, Big Show momentum towards Cena's match. They would get involved into our last segment, which I'll get to in a few moments. But like I said, Big Show, Kofi Kingston, silly matchup, stupid matchup. Like this whole Big Show thing, it's stupid. So there you go. Now on to our next match, another squasher. Actually, two more squashes to go, with Sin Cara taking on Kurt Hawkins. Now, everyone said the best but botched Cara with his injuries and all, but Sin Cara since coming back from the WWE, back to the WWE, he actually's been kind of somewhat impressing me a little bit. Although I do agree with one guy, when Mysterio come back, so he can compare and contrast. It's like, bring Mysterio back now. I heard one guy say that. Hartford's crowd was very good tonight. Sin Cara gets the win. Decent match against Kurt Hawkins for a squash match. And on the next squash, which involved a one-man band, Heath Slater. Now, I like this. In honor of the 1000th episode of Raw, we saw a lot of highlights from Raw's past tonight. Speaking of Raw's past, a member from Raw's past will be joining Raw for one night only every week, heading towards July 23rd's 1000 Raw. Well, I read that an old superstar was near Raw's site, and it was clearly given away when Heath Slater said, "It's my time. It's Slater time." What rhymes with Slater? Vader. I heard he was hanging around, so Vader returned tonight. And Vader gained a few pounds, but he's always been fat. He's fatter than ever, but I know he's been back in the ring a few times. First time he's been around since Cyber Sunday 05. Or was it Taboo Tuesday 05? Same thing, what was it? Match with him and Goldust. Not Goldust. Against Batista. Anyway. Vader took on Heath Slater, squash, ended with a Vader bomb. Fans were chanting it. It looked okay out there. There was some fans reacting, despite the fact, of course, TVPG drove some of the adults away. The fans like me, but I still, like many other adults my age, still watch it. We get happy when people like Vader show up. That you still got it, James. He still kind of got it. He still got the moves on him. So Vader wins the squash. And I guess I like the fact they're going to bring back people before Wall's 1000th every week. I smell Tatanka. And hopefully, Juan Simmons. Maybe JBL, too. I hope JBL may return soon. So this could be a part of JBL's return plan. Anyway, on to our main event. Like I mentioned, I like McMahon's quote about Big Show not performing inadequately since 1999. Speaking of man who's been performing inaccurately since 1999, on our next main event, which involved a man of that caliber, Kane, teaming up with Daniel Bryan, yes, against CM Punk and AJ. This whole tangled web of confusion got more confusing and awkward tonight in this weird tag team matchup. Punk had the advantage early, taking on Daniel Bryan, trying to make AJ not get involved. However, kind of like Ricardo in his match being an odd egg with his match with Bad Phoenix, that's what happened with AJ and Punk tonight. AJ was the sole egg in there, and AJ inadvertently got tagged in the match with Kane. She played around, twisted around. Of course, AJ's been flirting with Kane. This whole tangled web involving AJ, Kane, Bryan, and Punk got a little bit more confusing, awkward, and weird as AJ jumped on top of Kane and gave him a big wet kiss. Now, I've said it for the last 2 weeks, AJ's cost Punk matches, including one with Kane. Well, actually, AJ, for the first time since hanging out with Punk, actually helped Punk win a match for once. After the whole tonsil hockey thing, Punk got the bulldog and the knee lift, and of course, the victory over Kane, getting momentum for his match this Sunday. But AJ says the best man will win. Will it be Punk? Or will it be Punk supported Bryan or Kane? And I bet you, and I said this before about WrestleMania, about AJ getting involved in that match, I guarantee it. AJ will get involved in this match this Sunday. She will at least determine who will win this match this Sunday for the WWE Championship. Now, on our next segment involving John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon. Now, the last time we had a John Laurinaitis job evaluation review, he was very close to getting fired. And Triple H was the one who delivered a job evaluation. He was about to fire Laurinaitis, but was interrupted by Taker, of course, setting up WrestleMania. But that's what happened tonight. Vince brought security guards. He was close to firing Laurinaitis. Then he was interrupted by the Big Show, a man Vince called out earlier in the evening. Big Show was blah blah, 14 years of having an attitude and not being a giant, blah blah blah. I suck balls, everyone knows it. Speaking of sucks balls, here comes John Cena. Now John Cena came out, blah blah blah, about Big Show, saying, "You always been a giant, Big Show." Blah blah blah, no way out, steel cage, yada yada yada, fire Laurinaitis, yada yada. And Vince McMahon said, "Yo, Big Show hate your contract about doing whatever you want, people power and everything. I want to deliver 2 words, but not tonight. Sunday, Big Show. Big Show, I won't fire you. I'll be at ringside." Well, that was before what happened later after that. So Vince McMahon said, "I'll be at ringside, and if you lose, Big Show, I will deliver, you're fired." At that moment, Big Show got a hold of Cena. Chaos came. Big Show and Cena beat the crap out of security guards. And Big Show was about to knock out Cena, but then, inadvertently or not, Big Show knocked out Vince McMahon with the Weapons of Mass Destruction move. Like I said, Vince McMahon said he was going to be at ringside. He may not be now, especially after getting knocked out by the Big Show. In this non-exciting storyline involving Cena and Big Show getting more odd, with McMahon getting knocked out. We'll probably find out McMahon's condition at No Way Out. So that's how we end Raw, with Big Show knocking out Vince McMahon and making this whole Cena thing more stupider than it already has been. You know what I mean? We went from this whole thing with Triple H and Lesnar. Things are getting exciting. And WWE's lost the momentum. And everyone said to agree with me here that WWE's lost the momentum. They never talked about Triple H and Lesnar again. They never brought it up again. And then they're finally going to bring it up again this Sunday as Triple H is set to show up on No Way Out. Maybe too little, too late. But at least they're going to try to bring it up. And of course, Big Show Cena this Sunday. As far as the go-home show tonight before No Way Out, it was better than the last 2 weeks. There was some little screwy things as always. Glad to see Vader back. Happy to see Dolph Ziggler get the number 1 contendership for the world title under an unfortunate situation for Alberto. Kind of glad he got injured because I'm not a big fan of Alberto. Neither is everybody else. So there you go. That's it for my WWE Raw Supershow review. I'll see you all later. That in mind, you've all been attacked by the news review from Zach. Thank you very much. See you later. Yeah.